That 59-cent banana in your hand is the result of a century of labor disputes, trade wars, and corporate consolidation. And you're about to find out why. Let's start where the price tag starts, the plantation. In 2024, a single banana costs somewhere between 40 and 70 cents at the checkout. That seems simple. But Exhibit 1, the actual cost to grow, harvest, and ship one banana to your store is roughly 12 to 18 cents. The gap between that and what you pay, that's where the real story lies. Exhibit 2, labor. A banana picker in Central America, where roughly 40% of the world's bananas come from, earns somewhere around $5 to $8 per day. That's not per hour, per day. They're handling fruit that will sell for 59 cents each in a climate where the heat regularly exceeds 95 degrees, and the work involves climbing, cutting, carrying, and spraying pesticides without consistent protective equipment. Why so little? Supply and demand partly, but also monopoly. Three corporations, Chiquita, Dole, and Fifths, control roughly 85% of the global banana trade. When you have that much market concentration, the negotiating power shifts entirely. Plantation workers don't negotiate with one company. They negotiate with the only company willing to buy from their region. Exhibit 3, the Banana Wars. In the 1990s, the European Union imposed tariffs protecting banana growers in former colonies in the Caribbean and Africa. The United States, where Chiquita and Dole had massive operations in Central America, retaliated. For years, trade disputes over bananas escalated into threats of tariffs on Scottish whiskey, Italian cheese, and French wine. A fruit with a shelf life of roughly 2 weeks became a diplomatic hostage. That conflict wasn't really about bananas, it was about power. Developing nations wanted to protect their farmers. Developed nations wanted cheap fruit for their consumers. Bananas were just the object where those forces collided. The tariffs eventually fell, prices stayed low. Exhibit 4, the supply chain itself. A banana picked in Ecuador takes roughly 2 weeks to reach your supermarket. It travels in refrigerated containers at precisely 56 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not optional, it's the difference between a yellow, perfect banana and a brown, unmarketable one. That cold chain costs money. Fuel, electricity, specialized equipment. Then there's disease. Panama Disease, caused by a fungus, wiped out the Gros Michel banana variety in the mid-20th century. The industry switched to the Cavendish, which we eat today, but the fungus is evolving. In 2015, a new strain emerged in Southeast Asia. Plantations are now spending millions on fungicide, quarantine protocols, and resistant breeding programs just to keep the Cavendish alive. That cost gets baked into the price, so does climate volatility. Hurricanes in Central America can destroy entire crop regions in hours. In 2020, Hurricane Iota devastated banana plantations in Honduras and Guatemala. Suddenly, supply dropped, prices spiked. But by the time your local store felt the shortage, 6 to 8 weeks had passed. The supply chain is both fragile and slow. Exhibit 5, marketing and waste. Your supermarket receives bananas at various ripeness levels. They don't sell the greenest ones, consumers associate yellow with fresh. So stores mark down the greener bunches or they don't order them at all. That waste happens upstream too. Roughly 30% of bananas never reach a store. They're too small, too curved, too imperfect for cosmetic standards that consumers never actually demanded. That's built into your price too. When 30% of production is waste, the cost per sellable unit has to cover it. You're not just paying for the banana you eat, you're paying for 3 bananas you never see. Exhibit 6, the middlemen. Between the plantation and your store, a banana passes through exporters, shipping companies, importers, wholesalers, and distributors. Each one takes a margin. Each margin is small, maybe 3 to 5%, but they stack. By the time a banana reaches the distributor's warehouse, its wholesale price has nearly tripled from the farm gate price. Then there's your retailer's margin. A supermarket typically marks up produce by 30 to 40%. That's lower than snack food or beverages, but it's still substantial. Bananas are a loss leader. Stores use them to get you in the door, hoping you'll fill your cart with higher margin items. So that 59-cent banana breaks down roughly like this. 12 cents to grow and harvest, 5 cents for the cold chain and shipping, 3 cents for disease management and climate risk, 7 cents for waste absorption, 15 cents for middlemen and logistics, and 17 cents for the retailer. The plantation worker who spent an hour picking and cutting, they got about 1 cent. That's not an accusation, it's just how the system works. Labor in developing economies is cheaper than labor in developed economies. Transportation, refrigeration, and distribution infrastructure are expensive. Waste is massive. Corporate consolidation means fewer negotiators on the seller's side. All of that compounds. And here's what's remarkable. Despite all of that complexity, despite the wars and the fungus and the hurricanes and the monopolies, bananas are still one of the cheapest calories you can buy. They're cheaper than bread in most places, cheaper than eggs. The system, for all its inefficiency and unfairness, is optimized for volume and low price. So when you pick up a banana for 59 cents, you're holding the result of a century of agricultural innovation, labor exploitation, trade negotiation, disease management, climate risk, corporate consolidation, and logistics optimization. Every element of the global economy is compressed into that one piece of fruit. That's why a banana costs what it does, not because of supply and demand alone, but because of every force that brought it to you, every person who touched it, every risk that was managed, and every margin that was taken. Understanding that doesn't change the price, but it changes what you're really buying. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe to uncover the hidden economics behind the products you use every day, because the real story is always more complex than the price tag. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.